Meet Kai Igarashi, a fisherman who's fishing. His boat is in peril as the storm continues to rage on, and the waves make it hard for him to navigate properly. As such, fishing is barely possible. What tis a fisher to do in such a situation? His dad stumbles upon the edge railing, and he makes a last-second save, only for him to fall down and get swept up by the sea. Good job! As he sinks deeper, he thinks that this is really the end for him, and if it is, then not enough fish was caught in this lifetime. He then finds himself awake in a faraway island where a couple of girls are looking over him. Their dress looks almost as if they're from a tribe, and one of their reactions makes me believe they've never seen a dude in their life. The girls try to act hostile towards him, but they can't help but notice what large body he has. The tribe chief is still pretty violent with her approach. One of the girls tells her that Kai could be a man. She read about men in the books, and they're supposed to have a deep voice and a large body, both of which I do not have. Kai gets a hint that he might be the only dude, the first dude to ever step foot on this island. This doesn't make him anything special though, as they're still taking every precaution against him. The tribe chief takes him to her camp and stares directly at his crotch for an uncomfortable amount of time. The rest of the girls are outside wondering just what the tribe chief is doing with him. Her gaze starts to make him feel a bit funny, and his crotch finally evolves into its final form. The chief notices the bulge between his legs, and she grabs it tight, thinking he's hiding some sort of weapon in there. And it is a weapon. It most certainly is. She then knocks him down with her hips, presses his hands down with her legs, pulls his pants down, and sees that the weapon is actually a part of his body. Moments like these are when the female party starts to feel funny about grabbing the weapon, especially if they've never done it before. But the chief is a learned woman. She has the responsibility for the whole island on her, so she decides to cut open this weapon to see if it's dangerous. There's just no possible way that Kai can defend himself at this point. The only real damage he can do is to the weapon between her legs. Oh, he's made his resolve. If he's going to die like this, he might as well enjoy it. The slurping and all is very effective against the chief, who can no longer keep her composure. Man, we just got straight into it, didn't we? Her lower body starts to tingle, yet she doesn't quite understand what's happening. Dude, you can't even bother with a backstory before we go right into the action, bro. They're focusing on a different kind of plot right now, clearly. I just don't understand. Somehow, Kai manages to untie himself. I don't even know how. The rope looked pretty tight, and I know tight ropes when I see them. Instead of pushing her away, he chooses to spread her more and attack more consistently. Holy frick! Man, what a guy! And the chief reaches her limits. Something is coming from inside her, and it's not the usual stuff. Holy frick, she's doing the toe curl and everything. Dude, that's it. This is game over. Kai gets a fresh face wash from the organic fountain of the island chief, and he's surprised that's all it took for her to finish. Oh no. At this point, Kai is free from her clutches, and he is the one on top. He can still get up and walk away. Also, is no one outside hearing this? Anyways, he could walk away, but he chooses to grab her from behind. He's going for round two, ladies and gentlemen. He was using his mouth, but now it's time for the real weapon. The rest of the girls hear Tiana scream from inside, and it doesn't quite sound like she's in pain. Far from it, in fact. They frantically ask if they can come in, but she tells them not to. Y'all, they can still see the shadow of Kai taking a ride on her back, but they don't know what that is. He continues to use his weapon, and Tiana is coming very close to losing her mind. The fact that she's unable to even think straight, but somehow has enough sense to tell her people to go away, the girl must really admire what's going on right now. One of the girls peeks inside the tent and sees Kai giving Tiana a lesson in reproduction, and her face, well, she wants to be next. Kai releases all of his fisherman frustrations inside of her and on her face, she gets a good taste of it, and only then asks him what that liquid is. She tries to get violent once again, but Kai already knows where the weak spots are. One touch is all it takes to make her calm. He explains that the liquid will help her make more warriors such as herself, and technically he's not wrong. She comes to a realization after hearing this and calls him the man from the legends. You see, her mission is to give birth to the strongest child, and fisherman genes, you can't really go wrong with that apparently. I'm in the wrong field. Gotta get an F in chat if you're a fisherman. Y'all are making hard W's today. As such, she wants more of the liquid at its expense, only if it were that easy, which it actually might be. Not like they have to follow biological laws all the time, or any laws for that matter. I don't know where we are right now. This reminds me of Peter Grill. Okay then, if Kai believes that he still has more to deposit, then here we go, round 3. Okay. This time he starts with the actual real weapon of the human body, the hands. More specifically, the fingers. He then gives us a belay line directly to her mouth. He literally said, "Here, you want the liquid? Take it yourself." I'm not sure you're going in the right direction here, Kai. She wants to give birth to the strongest child. It develops in her womb, not her stomach. She then announces him as Kai the legend to every girl on the island. He is welcomed with care, and his new job is to give this liquid to everyone. But does he get paid, though? You know, the grind is real. Well, I guess he's on a different type of grind. Well, just like that, Kai's on a mission now. He's finally made a raft, which took him a lot longer than he'd expected. He wonders how many days it's been since he fell on that island randomly, miraculously. He can still talk with them and understand what they say, which means he isn't too far away from Japan. He has no hope nor any protection to cling to other than the protective charm that his father gave him. It sure didn't protect him from giving in to his lust. Jas here sees him building a raft and asks if he was trying to leave. He's wary of her, but she tells him to relax and she approaches him. He wants to know if she was there to stop him, but Jas doesn't have to worry about anything. You see, this island has a magical magnetic field, which makes it pretty much impossible for anyone to leave it. He's basically in the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, I'm sure there are two big magnetic fields on each of the natives, you know, persons. Makes it impossible for anyone. It is such a great force of attraction. I'll stop now. Kai is distraught at this news. He starts to panic over the fact that he won't be able to get back home. And what did you really have at home? Fish? The girl still has an expressive face on, which makes him believe she's hiding something, which she is. She does mention that he isn't completely out of options, but doesn't care to elaborate further. He makes it clear that he doesn't want to stay there in constant danger, but the girls are very welcoming of him. Aside from that one time where he was banging the village chief and she was low-key trying to kill him the whole time. They even have a whole party planned out for his arrival. Jas hears him talk about this and his dad, but her intentions are clear. He can't leave the island. Well, he can, just not yet. They really weren't kidding about the party, though. Look at all that food just for one dude. He asks where the quiet girl Ete is, and they tell him that she is the bookkeeper, a complete nerd who spends her whole day at the book storage. Relatable, just not with books. They don't realize that they basically told him who knows most of the island's secrets, including how to get out of there, so he rushes to seize Ete, leaving the sweet party halfway through. She's startled when he calls out to her and quickly apologizes for ghosting the party. He asks her to be at ease as the preparations are already done. She joins them for the meal, and Kai finds out that Ete has a lot more in common with him than the rest of them. Mostly because she knows what the outside world is like, as she's read about it in books. Also, how did your civilization even happen, huh? Tiana can't help but notice that the two of them get chummy with their talks, and all she can do is make a gloomy expression. Lass, you're the chief. Do something about it. Before they go to sleep, Ete talks to him about the duel he was having with Tiana inside her tent. I guess she was the one who peeked over to get a quick look. It would have been a pretty normal conversation because the girls on this island have no idea about sex, except for Ete. She's read enough to know that the duel is not actually a duel at all. She's read much about it in books, but doesn't know much because, you know, you don't have practice. As Ete wants him to do it with her too. All she knows about it is that it makes both parties feel good, which isn't guaranteed. Someone needs to talk about consent as well. That's an important thing. But I guess on an island full of horny women, it doesn't really matter, right? Do you understand it is the opening of hearts, pure emotion and joy, which is sure to some extent, as long as they agree, and a bunch of other things we don't got time to talk about. Go to therapy. And Tiana sure as hell didn't agree to anything. Ete doesn't really wait for him to agree either. She just takes her clothes off and pleads for him to drill her. Wow, that escalated too quickly for me. I got fracking a concussion from that. He isn't really sure about this idea because everyone is right there, and he literally just met her. Although that didn't stop him when it came to Tiana, no did it. He's reluctant at first, but then he remembers that he needs Ete's help the most, and if he agrees to do as she asks, he might be able to use it to his advantage and ask her about the escape plan. So he gently pushes her down and tells her to relax her body. Wait, when did he manage to undress? This guy then lifts the gates up, and of all things he can think of, he's impressed by her obedience. Such a cultured individual. He must have really had a great PE teacher because of the way he's been prioritizing foreplay. It's worthy of attention. All of my attention. She's also read that it's even better if they lock faces while they lock bodies. Holy frick, you're becoming one. It doesn't take long for Ete to realize that liquid is present all over the body, and it leaks from unimaginable places. She's a true child of the sea. He prepares her enough, and before the real action goes down, he strikes his deal. He will only use his weapon if she were to tell him something. Ete interrupts him before he can tell her what the something is, and she points out if he wants to know that. The guy assumes that they're talking about the same thing here and begins to seduce the answer out of her, and that's where you went wrong, lad. Then he chose to continue with the seduction. I guess the answer can wait for now. She reaches her breaking point quite fast, and he continues to ask with a weirdly creepy smile on his face. She agrees to tell him only after he completes the mission. He then turns her body to face her back and begins to slowly slide in. So are we not gonna know what this is is about just because they kept on going. Come on, Kai, focus! You have more important things to do here aside from people. She then presents him with a map the next day, and it doesn't really look like it has an escape route on it. So by that, she meant the route to where food is collected within the island, and his plan to get away out of her proves to be futile. This could really have been avoided with some good communication. He could have just asked her the question instead of relying on a mere assumption and horniness to do the talking. Tiana, who saw the two go at it last night, who didn't, is glad that he is already bonding with the other girls. Bonding, connecting, sexing. Having him supply everyone with his juice is her ultimate goal, but she doesn't really feel good about him doing it with the others. Make up your fracking mind. She then sees the contents of the book that Ete was reading. It has a detailed description of positions rather than the benefits of sex itself. The way she calls it the Book of Secrets is hilarious. It's always been in the storage, you just haven't bothered to look at it once. She glances around her and decides to take the book for herself, of course. Tiana then tries some of the book's tactics, but not to the best of her abilities. Guy catches her staring at him, and she covers it up by saying that he needs a change of clothes. Really though? This dude's been wearing the same fisherman fit every day. How have they been tolerating his stench for this long? Ete volunteers to make some clothes for him despite his reluctance. He really wants them to know that he doesn't plan on staying for long. Yeah, I'm not so sure about this new outfit. Also, it makes him look more like an NPC than he already was. He's like that generic character from any cheap arcade video game. Kai and Tiana find Ete desperately searching for something, and Tiana suspects that she's probably looking for the book. Why does she have to hide it though? She's literally the chief! Not to mention, any moment between Kai and Ete makes Tiana jealous, and it's very visible to anyone with brain cells. She talks to Jas about how anything Kai does makes her heart rush with excitement, including the part where seeing him with other girls makes her heart ache. Jas doesn't waste her time with delusional stories. She gets straight to the point and tells her that she might be experiencing love. How? You just love his penis. That's all it is. Nothing about this man do you love aside from that. What has he done to show you anything other than that? Tiana tries to deny it, and she thinks she just feels curious about Kai. Mostly because he's so much stronger and he's built different compared to the rest of them. Of course he is. He's a dude! You have a type! Jas then gives her an idea, which I don't think it's that good, but we'll see. Well, she approaches Kai, who's still tending to his raft. This time, Tiana is a woman on a mission. She makes it clear to him that she won't forgive him if he were to leave the island. And does he care? No! He wants to go home and be with his people. Still, Tiana has a job to do. She has to bear the ultimate child, and so she wants to duel with him once more. And by duel, you know what I mean. My guy has enough willpower to resist her. Finally, he tells her that he has work to do and has no time to spare for her. That's it, King. You tell her. She then begins to blackmail him with the greed of the ship that she claims to know about. She's only going to tell him about its location if he agrees to duel with her, and Kai doesn't really have a choice here, and he takes the initiative by taking her into a corner. She's taken aback by his aggressiveness and asks him to slow down. She does this only to immediately pull his pants down. She then grabs a spear and begins to lubricate it with her saliva. Her teeth are on the way, and Kai tells her to be more careful. Just reading that hurt me in so many ways. Kai gets enough of her head, and now he wants to make sure that she's knocked up once and for all. Ete, who finally finds her book lying under a random tree, sees Kai on top of someone and decides to take a peek. Once again, curiosity killed the cat. Meow! The moment I open this very new chapter, Kai is already giving it to some woman. I don't even know who she is. I don't even think he knows who she is. He suspects that this girl, whom we shall identify soon enough, is there to stop him from leaving. He was planning to leave? Who in their right mind would want to do that? Why would you want to go back to the land of taxes and taxes when you can go to the land of milk and honey? That's not her intention, though, as she makes it clear that he is the only man she knows, and she's there to make babies. That's what she says until she melts and starts asking for it. Oh, yeah. This right here is Tiana, ladies and gentlemen. The village chief. He's going at it all gears now. He's marking his territory on the chief. Mind you that the real deed has not been done yet, as he's only examining the fertility like any farmer would with his bare hands. The fertilizer is yet to make it inside. Yeah, y'all, we're back at it again with the innuendos, man. It has made its way, and the farm seems very pleased to have it in there. And there's a lot more where that came from. The process is so fulfilling that the farm decides that it has to give back some moisture. Tiana can't hold it anymore. She yells as something inside her begins to flow, not from where it usually does. She holds him tight, and I suppose a kid will be on its way pretty soon. After they're done with it, he examines a boat that she knows. It's not the best boat in the world, but he believes that it'll get the job done. So Kai plans to leave this island as soon as he can and return back to his people. I thought he wanted to leave, but why is this man still waking up inside of one of their tents? I mean, I guess if you're trapped there, you might as well make the most of it, right? Just then, the locket on his neck grabs his attention, and it's a circular stone that looks like a frackin' donut. His dad gave it to him, but he never explained the significance of it. He looks through it and wonders what it could mean. Kai is startled to see another woman staring right at him. I guess she's there for her special services too. The force seemed very strong with this one, though you can physically see how gifted she is. He understands what these girls are trying to do, and then they're trying to seduce him to the best of their abilities. Kai, however, is headstrong. He doesn't want to stay there. He wants to leave the place no matter what, because he has a service to fulfill in his country. At least that's what he feels, but he sure is flirting with this one a lot. He tells the girl he's been waiting for her. She feels a lot different than the rest of them. I mean, I don't disagree. I can see the clear difference here.